Even though there's a saying that goes, fake it till you make it, there are just some things that cannot be faked. Whether they are trying to win a competition they shouldn't be a part of, or they simply didn't recognize the person they bought tickets for, these are 30 hilarious times people didn't meet the requirements. Number 30. To be the dominant species. This picture shows why the canine species doesn't meet the requirements to be the dominant species. Number 29. To be a guard dog. This picture reminds us of someone who applied for the job without actually being suited or skilled enough to do the job in question. Although this goat is the size of a dog, it isn't the same as having a guard dog, not at all. Number 28. To row any water vessel. The 4 men in this picture shouldn't have been given a boat to begin with. If they couldn't even keep the vessel above water, what makes you think they could have actually rowed it anywhere? Number 27. To be helpful. When you come across signs like the one pictured here, you can't help but shake your head. Signs are supposed to be helpful and be able to lead a driver to destinations based on the worlds of signs. This sign didn't quite make the cut. Number 26. Not to be a victim. This person may have tried, but they are certainly going to become a victim very soon. If you are taking the time to put a lock around your bike to prevent theft, make sure the lock is actually securing the bike. Number 25. To be a team player. If you kick a guy where the boy in this picture is kicked, you won't be invited to the next game. It takes a lot to be kicked off the team, but not being a team player is certainly one of the reasons to get the boot. Number 24. To be a cat. Cats are supposed to be fearless hunters that rid homes and farms of vermin or other pests. Although that is generally the case for most, this cat in the picture is too attached to those baby rats to care. Yes, they are tiny and adorable, but the cat is just allowing them to run all over its face, which is very uncat-like. Number 23. To be a spy. We don't know what agency the dog in this picture is with, but he's just doing a horrible job of being a spy. Spies are supposed to be able to go incognito, which is something this pup clearly can't seem to grasp the hold of. His stub of his tail might be fun, but the addition of sunglasses don't make it look like a face at all. Number 22. To ride this ride. Honestly, we're surprised that this bike hasn't shattered into millions of pieces. There are reasons why there are size and weight limits to things, but this certainly doesn't seem to apply for this guy. This man in the picture may have not met the requirements to ride this ride, but he's doing so anyways. Number 21. To be a wildlife photographer. It doesn't take a bunch of classes to make you a wildlife photographer. That label is for those who successfully go out into nature to take stunning photos of wildlife and live to tell the tale. While the man in this photo is certainly getting a personal picture of wildlife, it doesn't look like he's going to make it out to tell the story. Just like the photographer that got mauled by the lion for taking too many photos, this guy didn't meet the requirements for being a wildlife photographer. Number 20. To enjoy that park. Normally, the first requirement of going to a park should be no adults on the horsey rides. Yes, there are rules like don't litter and don't jump off the swings, but those were created for your safety in mind. It's surprising to find someone like in this picture shows clearly doesn't know how to have fun at the park. But as you can see, it happens. This man should have stayed home since he couldn't even meet the non-existent requirement of enjoying the park and all of its activities. Number 19. To write children's books. If you came up with the elephant's trunk in this picture, you should not be allowed to write or illustrate children's books ever again. We aren't going to explain to you the exact reasons why this would be inappropriate, but we're sure you can probably figure it out yourself. This is definitely not a kid's book you should buy for your kids for Christmas time, and that thing could certainly poke an eye out. Number 18. To be a groupie. While this guy does sort of resemble Drake, it's pretty clear that this isn't him. However, for the 2 girls also pictured here, they think that they are actually meeting one of their favorite stars. They aren't able to call themselves real groupies, however, since they didn't actually spot the real guy. Sorry ladies, you fail. Number 17. To be the Flash. We know it's hard to be a superhero. It's such a hard job that very few people, if any, can actually do it. Although this man pictured here wishes he could be the one and only Flash, he doesn't quite meet the requirements. Not that every superhero has to have 6-pack abs, but the Flash has to be able to run lightning fast. That's something imagine this guy probably couldn't do. Number 16. To operate this vehicle. It's understandable to have issues riding vehicles with 2 wheels. You have to balance them, and not everyone is blessed with balance. You would think, however, that vehicles with 4 wheels would be fairly easy to ride. And as long as you're an adult with some common sense, you can drive something like a quad or a dune buggy without a bunch of fancy papers and such. Even though it makes sense, the man in this photo proves us wrong. Maybe you do need a set of requirements to operate these vehicles. Number 15. To have the element of surprise. Whoever thought out the genius design pictured here lost 3 cops the element of surprise. You really aren't undercover if you have a giant sticker on the back of your car that says undercover. We see you, you can't hide from us. Number 14. To feed the ducks. You might be under the impression that feeding the ducks is something fun. While that might be true, at times geese and other birds aren't always that friendly. The poor boy in this picture thought that there weren't any requirements to feeding ducks. Boy, was he wrong. Number 13. To become a professional diver. If you are taking dives off the high dive that look like the woman pictured here, you won't be getting any offers to be on a professional diving team. This person didn't meet the requirement to swim, much less dive off a board above water. Number 12. To walk through a puddle. The man in this swimming pool of a puddle thought that he was tall enough to walk across the street. Yes, there were a few puddles of water on the ground, but he didn't think too much of them as he started to cross. Clearly, he didn't meet the height requirements to walk through this puddle, and he learned a lesson that he won't be doing it again. Number 11. To be allowed inside. Cats might think they're big and bad when they are safe inside the house pushing things off the table, but on the outside, it's a whole new world. The cat in this picture thought he was able to be brave enough to take on the big outdoors, but ran into a patrolling peacock instead. Now he thinks this was the worst decision of his 9 lives, and just look at those eyes. Number 10. To ride a motorcycle. We all know that it takes a test and a license to be able to legally operate a motorcycle. Although it takes those things, it looks like this man in the picture chose the illegal way out. Whatever kind of disaster this is, he probably could have prevented it if he had the proper qualifications, like a license. Number 9. To hop that fence. The little boy in this picture really tried to jump over this fence, but clearly missed the mark entirely. He may have made it to the other side, but the whole trip is pointless if you're stuck in a position where you can't get loose. He just didn't meet the height requirements. Number 8. To go to the beach. It's not really hard to meet the requirements to have a fun and safe time at the beach. Don't drown, don't eat sand, or die in any other way horrible possible, wear sunblock. The boy pictured here is both eating sand and possibly dying in a horrible way, by suffocating. We're sure he's okay now, but this is not the way you enjoy the beach. Number 7. To become a husband. It's clear from this image why the 2 men pictured here aren't exactly husband material. While looks don't matter to some women, others prefer that you don't lie about having a six-pack. Maybe if they could figure out how to get those indentations on there longer, maybe they could fake it until they make it. Number 6. To use the equipment. If you are using weights as heavy as the guy in this picture is using, you need to first know how to properly use them. You can see that this man is definitely not cut out to use this equipment alone. To date an actual girl. You can't just look at the kid in this picture and see what's wrong with him, but there might be some reason why he can't find himself a girl. He is too young to really be too worried about that kind of thing, but as you can see, he felt the need to snuggle up with someone to take a photo with. We really hope this kid doesn't go inside his van next. Number 4. To get a job. When you apply for a job, even if it's just to drop off a resume or application, not for an interview, you need to look your best. You don't have the job yet, and the hiring manager could always be watching. The man in this picture probably didn't get hired simply because of the message on the back of his shirt. Your employer probably doesn't care what you do outside of work, as long as you don't bring it to work. Number 3. To become a household name. Small family-owned and operated small businesses spend their time trying to become a household name. If an establishment is a household name, the chances of always having a constant supply of customers is extremely high. If you fail to advertise your business in a family-friendly manner though, like this dentist in this photo, you might end up losing more customers than you attract. Number 2. To drive the truck. It might be slightly more understandable if the truck in this photo were facing the other way. If that was the case, then the driver of this unfortunate truck would have accidentally backed up too far and have managed to hang itself off the cliff. However, since the front of the truck is facing off the cliff, we just want to know how this driver got his license, especially when he obviously didn't meet the requirements. And number 1, to be a fitness model. If you waited until the last minute to prepare for the competition like this kid in the photo did, you would most certainly be walking into things blinded and unprepared. He could have at least busted out some push-ups or gotten a spray tan or something like that, and then he could have blended in.
So which one did you think was the most interesting? Be sure to leave us a comment in the comment section and subscribe for new videos every day.